happen. And then I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I made it happen. I remember I went to work for this man named Jim Rohn. Anybody here heard of Jim Rohn? Wow, quite a few. I went to saw him when I was 17 years old. A man that my family had known. My dad said, he used to be such a loser, and now he's so successful. How is that? And I was totally broke. Our family was broke, and I needed to earn some money. So on the weekends, he was fixing homes and then flipping them. And so I went to help him move some of those homes. And while I was moving, I said, listen, my dad said you used to be such a loser, and now you're so successful. Kids can get by with this shit, you know. I thought I was asking him just a normal question, right? You know? And he said, your father said, what? In the end, he said, well, he's probably right. And I said, what changed you? He said, I went to a seminar. I said, what the hell's a seminar? He said, well, this man who has this incredible life experience tells you the best insights he has and saves you like a decade or two. I said, wow. I said, how long is he talking? It was 3.5 hours. I go, holy shit, that's a long time. 94, 6-day things, right? But I said, well, I don't understand. He goes, Tony, you can learn on your own experience, and that's the most expensive way to learn, because it costs you time, and you'll never get the time back. He said, you got to spend the money. I said, well, how much is it? This is 1977. This shows how old I am. I'm a 17-year-old kid. And he said, it's $35. And I'm like, holy shit, because I'm making $40 a week as a janitor. That's a week's pay for one little evening? He goes, well, you shouldn't go. You should just figure it out on your own over the next 30 years. I said, can you get me in? He said, yeah. I said, will you? He said, no. I said, why not? He said, you won't value it. He said, if you struggle to be there, you'll take notes. And I did. I figured out every like bow was worth 3 cents and shit. I was like committed. But the interesting thing was I made that little decision and it led me to a whole different life, because I decided from that point forward I wasn't going to learn by my own experience. And I had to come up with, the next step with him was like a couple $1,000 program for a weekend. And I didn't have a couple $1,000. I had no way to make a couple $1,000. My mom was a very powerful woman. She married 4 different men. I met my 4th father. I said, Mom, I'm confused. I said, there seems to be a common denominator in these relationships, which is not a good thing to say to your mother. And so she threw my father out, my 4th one, and she threw me out next. He went back to Chicago. I literally was walking through the streets on Christmas Eve. She chased me out with a knife, and I wasn't going back in there. I knew she wasn't going to hurt me, but I wasn't going back in there. And so I started on my little journey there, trying to figure out what the hell I was going to do.